Still with Fjortov, that's good work. Fjortov, he wanted that one himself, and he's got it. My goal all the way, says Jens Fjortov. Started and finished by the
top
Norwegian
3
international.
center backs that you have played against. And it doesn't have to be Bundesliga, just in general.
Yeah, it's a good challenge when you texted me this morning, and I was thinking a lot of that, because do I do the 3 best centre halves I've played against him based on merits and career, or will it be the ones that I have most trouble playing against? And I've ended doing a mixture of that, because I will give you one example. I played for Rapid Vienna. I was 22, 23. I played against Inter Milan, as they say in Inter Milan, and you saw that game on a VHS with me, and you were thinking, you were saying when you saw that game, I remember that, because you said, how were you so quick? And that was a great game. I played against Bergomi, Italian giant, and I have to say, I was brilliant. I was so good. I think that one of the best games I've ever played. That was an Inter team based with Andy Brehme, Lothar Matthäus, and Jurgen Klinsmann. They won the European Cup that year, and they were world champions, the 3 of them. And we won 2-1 at home. I hit the bar. I had a goal not given, which was scandalous. Not given because of offside, which it wasn't, of course. But then the round after, I played against St. Pölten, a club rarely no one heard of. And at St. Pölten, there was a guy called Friwert. And Friwert, he never got a game for Austria. He was never known outside St. Pölten, but I always had trouble with him. And I remember Hans Krankel, the famous legendary goal getter. I said, Jan, how is it possible that you have a trouble against Friwert and you didn't have with the big Bergomi? But sometimes there are players standing to you. Martin Keon at Arsenal was the same. They had Steve Bold, Tony Adams, and Martin Keon. And I had the biggest problem with Martin Keon, because I was a striker that I wanted to feel them. I want to feel where you have the centre halves. And we've had a lot of talk about that, Marcus, when you played as a centre half. And I said, I couldn't feel Martin Keon. Well, I could feel him when he went through me. And I meet him now pitch side doing different games. And I always ask him if I should wear my shin pads again, because I just feel that he will tackle me. The point is that there are strikers who you play good against. So Jurgen Kola played for Bayern, played for Dortmund, played in Italy, played for Germany. I knew that when I would meet him, I knew I would look good against him. Right. Because I knew he went so tight to the opposition, to me as a striker. So when I turned him, I turned him easily because he was so close. And yes, we played Dortmund. We won 2-0. I scored a goal. I was good in that game. So, I'm concluding to then up my top 3. I played for Norway against Holland. I'm come from a small village with 900 inhabitants called Gursken, and I found myself being man-marked by Frank Rijkaard. If I'm turned Frank Rijkaard, I had to take on Ronald Koeman. So I've had all kind of opposition in my football career, but I'm down to 3, Marcus, and as a representative for the guys who made it hard for me, I will do Martin Keon. Also representative for Arsenal. At that time, the shout was 1-0 to the Arsenal. They knew if they go 1-0, they wouldn't concede any goal. With him, Steve Bold, Tony Adams, and
Lee Dixon,
and Nigel Winterburn at the other side. Fantastic defense. I kind of always looked good against Tony Adams. We had great fights. But I would put Martin Keon because he's a representative for the center half that made it very difficult for defenders. Then I was between Adams. I wanted to put him Tony Adams. You know, I got some shirts from him. It's a player I rate very highly. But I would take a player that I played with and I played in training, Italian guy called Gianluca Festa. Festa was a defender at Middlesbrough, and he was one of those. I could never hold him off. He was annoying, good in training, He was annoying physical in training. He was annoying not having this training mood of things. So when I played against him in training, I hated it because I loved scoring goals in training, do my different things. And then he was doing his Italian man-marking kind of shite that I felt when I was in training with him. So I would put Gianluca Festa in, great striker, play at the end of the 90s, he played with Middlesbrough. But then at the top with space, with Abstand, like they're saying in Germany.
A clear margin. Yeah.
Clear margin that I've played against was this Desai. Desai, he was like, he was good with the ball, check. He was very intelligent, check. And he was like, when you run into him, I could hold him off, but it was like holding off a brick or wall. There was like no way I could turn a wall. And I remember, maybe this is because I think we lost 5-0 against Chelsea. I probably played against him in other games as well. But Desai has always been, like, for me, a symbol of, for me, the perfect defender. And I met him a couple of times, and I always tell him that. It's not like this is so important from him, but it's important for me. So I always tend to have a selfie with him and always say that he's the best defender I've ever played against.